This could be a steal for the Memphis Grizzlies as they might have their next star point guard right under their nose in the Sweet 16 coming up later this week. With a lot of uncertainty regarding Ja Morant's future, you got to think that the point guard position is the most looked at position right now for the Memphis Grizzlies. So, do they have the star point guard from the Houston Cougars right under their nose? Let's find out. What's going on, everybody? Breaking down Kingston Flemings from the Houston Cougars and why he could be the perfect fit. Why not just one major source is linking Kingston Flemings to the Memphis Grizzlies, but other sources as well. Let's dive right into it. So you got the NBA mock draft. This is from Underdog. Of course, they have AJ Diabaza. Still don't know why Darren Peterson is up that high because I think of a lot of game changers that are much better than him. I don't want to say maybe much better, but I know of a lot of game changers like Cam Boozer and Darius Acuff who I think are more valuable than him. And if you're the Washington Wizards and land that number 2 pick, I just think it's going to be a disaster drafting Darren Peterson, or pretty much for anybody that matter, especially if you're the Brooklyn Nets or Sacramento Kings, but that's maybe another video for another time. Caleb Wilson at 5, Keaton Wagler at 6, and then Kingston Flemings, the 6'4" Houston point guard to the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, why are we talking about Kingston Flemings today? Well, he's going to be in the Sweet 16 against, well, it's going to be Houston and Arkansas. So we get to see, folks, a possible future incoming for maybe the Memphis Grizzlies for years to come. Darius Acuff for Arkansas, Kingston Flemings for Houston. This is going to be a massive game. Star point guards everywhere in that West region. Also got Braden Burries as well for Purdue, Braden Smith. Now, someone like Braden Smith for Purdue, I know we talk about Purdue a lot, because of Zach Edey, has that connection there. Someone like Braden Smith probably not going to go to like the early second round, so that may be another video for another time if he is linked to Memphis. But for Darius Acuff, we've done a video on him, so this is now for Kingston Flemings. And for Flemings, I mean, he's played like a star this year. And they compare him. This is a Bleacher Report article. 6'4", 190 pounds, 19 years old. One of the top tier point guards, Kingston Flemings may come off as the safest due to his physical profile, bankable pull-up game, and valued intangibles like IQ and late game poise. He also lacks their shooting range, and there isn't a long list of first-round success stories of prospects who shoot fewer than 6 threes per 100 possessions and have a free throw rate of under 30. Still, it looks like he's locked into the top 10 mix, with scouts confident in a 6'4" point guard with a pro-level mid-range game at 38.8% three-point shot and 84.3 free throw percentage, an outstanding assist to turnover ratio, and promising defensive tools. So I think a lot to look forward to here with Kingston Flemings. I think he's got very high motor, very similar to Darius Acuff, around the same size as Darius Acuff, can kind of create his own shot, has a good mid-range shot. Kingston Flemings can pass the ball at a high rate, can also shoot the ball efficiently, which I'm going to jam to you every single video. I'm going to jam to you how the Memphis Grizzlies need to get better from beyond the arc. Now, any one of these guys, like Keaton Wagler, Darius Acuff, now Kingston Flemings, all these guys that we've done videos on, folks, they all solve the issue of Memphis' biggest offensive problem. Now, of course, I know half the team is in the hospital or they're in street clothes or whatever you want to say. It can't be said enough. I know we've been going through it together, and I've been going through it here with you, here on Grizzlies Digest. That's why you got to subscribe to the channel, because we've been going through it all year, and I've been here with you. But any one of these 3 guards that we've talked about so far, they all solve that problem. And Kingston Flemings is, to me, that guy. I didn't mean to say it like that, but he very well could be. So this is from Fansided here, and they list Kingston Flemings at the 4 to 8 projected draft range, which is very well in Memphis's play, in that same exact range. There's not much debate about the number 1 spot here. I think they're comparing, this is a Fanside article comparing the different guards in the tournament. as Kingston Flemings began the season red hot and never really let his foot off the gas pedal. Next to Darius Acuff, Flemings is probably the most composed freshman guard in the country. He's a natural-born leader both in the locker room and on the court. He doesn't get sped up or out of control, yet he can play a breakneck speed. His first step is unmatched in this draft class. He puts instant pressure on defense and fruitfully extends advantages, delivering pinpoint passes mid-sprint and finishing with power or finesse at the rim. He gets to the free throw line. He's a relentless on-ball defender and pickpocket. He is, for my money, the best pure point guard in the 2026 class, if such a thing still exists. So, again, there are going to be a lot of rankings everywhere, from anywhere from Bleacher Report to ESPN to The Ringer to The Athletic to Fansided to Fox Sports, CBS Sports. A lot of these sports organizations, they're going to have a lot of different rankings, but they list Kingston Flemings as the top pick. And I think because of his high motor and because of his energy, I think he's something that's needed. Now, in regards to what I said earlier about how he could be the replacement for Ja Morant, I think it's time to start getting a little bit real here. And how Ja Morant is, I think at this point, if I'm going to say 60-40 in the likely range to not play for the Memphis Grizzlies next season. And that's just based on what they tried to do before the trade deadline, what the offseason tried to do, I should say, and the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade, the Desmond Bane trade going back to last summer. If you recall all of that and put all that together, it doesn't look like Ja Morant's going to be in a Grizzlies uniform. But that's just me. I could be wrong, but you never know. But that's what I think. So to close this video out, we've been talking a lot about Kingston Flemings, but what about the other picks? Well, I'm going to talk to you about that too. How about that? So this is from Eddie Perez. Eddie does work for the NBA. He is NBA draft analyst, also does work for the WNBA. This mock draft has the Grizzlies selecting, and this is from Jonathan Wasserman from Bleacher Report, the article that we looked at a few moments ago. So he has the Grizzlies selecting Kingston Flemings. You also have Karam Lopez, and at number 31, the shooting guard / small forward 6'6" Isaiah Evans from Duke. What about, so he asked, thoughts if this was our draft haul in a few months, would definitely hope for a trade up in this scenario. Well, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I'm not mad at Kingston Flemings. I'm not mad if the Grizzlies get Darius Acuff. I'm not too mad even if they get Keaton Wagler. Karam Lopez, I mean, he could make history as the first Mexican-born player to actually get drafted in the first round. Isaiah Evans is a knockdown shooter from the outside. Don't think that would be a bad pick at all. I do think that they would definitely need someone who, regardless of who they get in the first round, I do think they need to prioritize on a backup big for Zach Edey. And it also wouldn't help. So let's say Santi Aldama comes back, which some Grizzly fans they're not really favoring all that much. Only some of them. But let's say he comes back. I'd say you want to try, and it wouldn't hurt to maybe find a solid option at the 4 spot. I think you should be looking. I think the Grizzlies are fine, and I've said this before. I think they are fine at guard. I think they have a lot of guard depth. They have plenty of it, plenty of wing depth too. I think they need to go for a big man in this draft, somewhere in between the heights of 6'10" and 7 feet. But you're not going to find that in the top 10 because basically the top 10 this year, they're a bunch of high-skilled freshman guards. So you're really not going to find a whole lot of big man talent up until that mid-range point anyway. Karam Lopez, I think that's it's not bad for what it is, but maybe you'd want to trade up still. I don't know. But I think they should draft someone, at least one, in the 6'9" to 7 foot range. At least. But that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching this video. Jared Altor for another episode of Grizzlies Digest here, breaking down the draft. I know a lot of you are looking forward to the draft. It's going to be one of the most crucial off seasons in Grizzlies history, so that's why you got to hit that subscribe button while you can. 25% of you, you're awesome and amazing. Hit that subscribe button. If you're for some reason, if you are part of that 75% of you, have to hit that subscribe button for constant Grizzlies updates. But we'll see you in the next video, and stay tuned for more draft news coming up later on in the upcoming weeks.